Pardon me? We can get. All right. Well, then I'll go ahead and get the December 2nd meeting, 2020 at 9:35 a.m. The Citizens Advisory Committee for the MPO, Pasco County. So we'll start with call to order, please. Well, I think we do a call or yeah. Okay. Oh, let's start down here. Go ahead.
I'm not sure I'm on here though. That's what I got to try to figure out here.
I guess I'm on.
Right. It's red.
Oh, okay. I can.
Okay. Oh, Larry Guilford.
And you represent?
District 1.
Thank you.
Rodney Oakley. Mm-hmm.
Clinton Wynn, Mike Wells.
It's now Christina.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Yes, thank you. Marilyn Deschamps, representing the city of Newport Richey, chair of the MPO CAC.
Sandy Graves at large.
Melanie Monson, representing Matt Smith.
Becky Martin, representing Pasco EDC for Tom Ryan.
Oh, okay. So you're sitting in for Tom. Thank you for being here. Okay, with that, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Who do we have here online? Thanks. I mean, who else besides Tina? Okay. Oh, Kurt's here?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
And who's John? Kurt is Casey. Hi, Casey.
Morning, everyone.
Can we go around and introduce ourselves on
Is Casey?
I'm here. Good morning.
Hello, everyone online. Can we go ahead and introduce ourselves? If you hit the space bar, you temporarily unmute.
I am Casey Kersey with AECOM and participating in this meeting today.
All right. Who's John? Oh, again. Sorry. Oh, I knocked that off.
Scheibel, I'm here for PCPT.
Hi, Kurt. Thank you for being here.
Hi, and I'm Margaret Kubelins, and I'm with Florida Department of Transportation, District 7, for a presentation on Safe Trip.
Thank you. Oh,
Tina Russo, Pasco MPO Active Transportation Planner.
Okay. So then Steve is not with us today, Steve Hickman. All right, and who else are we missing from the actual committee? Yeah. How about Lee? So did Lee indicate he'd be missing today? No. Okay. Rob? Did he have an excused absence? All right, did he have an excused absence? All right. Well, we'll want to, kind of update that so that we know who's here and who's not, especially those persons who are actually on the committee. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and move on with the agenda. All right. We have this opportunity at this time for the public comment. Do we have anyone here from the public that wishes to make comment? We do not, so we will move on. Now we have the next item. The committee will have reviewed, hopefully in advance, the minute meetings of the last meeting. So do we have a motion to approve or any comments?
I don't have any comments. Can I ask you something though? Yeah. Is the public comment on the screen just there for purposes of somebody that might be?
Right.
Okay.
It's there.
Oh, Thank you, John.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. That's a good question. All right, let me look at my own notes here. Yes. Oh, okay. All right, so now I guess I don't have a copy of the minutes because I don't have an agenda. I did have a question, however, and that was that I noted that all members were listed, all members who attended were listed. But I thought we were separating the virtual members from those who were actually in person. However, I noticed on that attendance sheet, it was all together. The reason I mention that is because those who are present, their votes count for the majority vote, whereas the others, unfortunately, virtual members do not. So do you think that in the future we should separate the two so that we have that understanding?
I'll check back with our planning director just to see if we need to make the distinction.
Oh, you're muted now. Just
I'm sorry, what?
hit the push button again.
I didn't touch any
I know,
buttons.
it's muted.
Okay, what, the middle?
So right now, it's all the ones.
It's all yours.
Right now, I'm just filling it completely.
Oh, no, I turned it on. I turned it on. Right here, right? Milton?
That's all.
That's what I'm.
Got this.
Go ahead and unmute.
Okay.
Chairman is still muted.
All right, we're ready?
Yeah, push the button.
Which one?
Where it says push. There you go. Nope, it's still.
No,
Go ahead, push it.
It's,
You got it. They didn't?
Okay. I'm not sure.
is it on?
Oh, it's on, yeah. The microphone's covering the light.
Well, it's not red.
No, it is. I can see it right through there. It's good. There you
All right.
go.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. All right, we'll proceed then. All right, just so for my clarification then, going back to trying to understand, you know, the difference between those present and those virtual. And I bring it up for a good reason, and that is during a time like this, it is hard for some people to drive distances, but they still want their time and their vote acknowledged. But it is my understanding that the Board of County Commissioners are not considering virtual attendance to be authentic for a vote. Is that correct?
Right, so right now, so right now we are on a hybrid virtual, and to meet quorum, in order to meet the CDC requirements of 10, less than 10 in a room, we're doing whatever each committee has for their quorum. So for the CAC, it is 5 members as of right now.
Right.
So our county administrator said we'll be on the hybrid virtual meeting until further notice. We do receive input from the attendees that are virtual, but unfortunately the votes that are here are the ones that are counted.
No, I understand that. In fact, I think I even stated that. But here's my thought then. For future minutes, then let's separate them, okay? That way we'll know that who was in attendance and voting and who was in attendance virtually.
Yeah, I'll discuss that with them.
That was not the way it was, even though I don't have a copy of it. I did note that. I questioned that. So as long as the Board of County Commission wants us to hold meetings like this, I feel it's important to know who's present and vote counts and who isn't. And by the way, I still object to the fact that virtual members can't vote, but that's just for the notes. But anyway, thank you, Tania. So
I have one question in regard to that.
Sure can.
The quorum, I think you should have it listed as you have the members and the attendees. I think that should also be part of the minutes as far as the attendees that were there in person. I don't see that on this top part.
That usually is.
Because otherwise you don't know if you had a quorum or not. And now you can look back at your minutes. I don't see anything here.
Well, you should note that if I didn't have quorum in the past minutes, you see I said there was no quorum present.
Yeah.
And we voted by consensus, is usually documented in the minutes.
Yeah.
But I'll see how the other committees are addressing the virtual.
It just seemed like when we have the meeting attendees and everything right up here, you just have another column and say, here are the ones that are, so you made your quorum. You can look at that first page of the minutes and you know you had a quorum,
Well, yeah, that's what I see. I don't have an agenda. I did not know they wouldn't be here. Right. So, but as I was reading over those minutes of, when I had the computer at home, I noticed everyone was in one line, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm just asking that virtual and those present are separated and noted, just so that we know, especially since the Board of County Commission still wants it to be this way. Alrighty, so now do we have anyone else? Any comments? Okay, all right, we'll now go to.
Need a motion to approve?
Oh yeah, I always forget that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Tanya, did you get that? We made a motion to approve.
I made a motion to approve.
It's a unanimous approval of the minutes.
I did.
Thank you.
All right then, thanks for reminding me. You may have to again. All right, now I did ask about public comment. There is no one here. We have the approval. Okay, next one up, report on MPO board actions.
Unfortunately, the board meeting was canceled last month, and so we are having a very robust meeting next week.
And that will be next Thursday. What's that date? The 10th? 10th. All right, and it will be held here in Dade City. All right, well, I will have to attend that one virtually as the chair of this committee to make my report, because I don't want to really drive all the way back for a few minutes. Under action items, we have AECOM, who will now provide a synopsis on what we're doing with Vision Zero Phase 2. Is that correct?
Yes, we're going to have, we will have Tina Russo from MPO staff give a brief overview of the Vision Zero Phase 2, and then we will have AECOM on the line if you guys have any further questions. We also have a video of our first phase of Vision Zero we'd like to share with you guys if we can get it up and running. So with that, I will turn it over to
Well, I have a question. See, that's one thing I did notice when I was reading the agenda. I wondered, when did Vision Zero Phase 1 take place? I don't recall.
We did it last year, February, we initiated.
Is that
Vision Zero in regards to the
February of 2019?
Yes.
Okay, then I can look that up on my agenda.
I believe we initiated August or September, we initiated Vision Zero Phase 1.
Oh, okay.
As of June 30th of this year, we closed out the scope, and now we're moving on to Vision Zero Phase 2.
Okay.
All right.
So then, Tina.
Good morning, everyone. Tina Russo.
I can't hear her.
Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Tina Russo, MPO staff. Is that any better?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Active transportation planner. I just want to give you a kind of a brief overview of phase 1. And because of COVID, things were a lot different than we had planned for our Vision Zero. Just to let you know, I came in to Pasco MPO about February, and then COVID hit in March. But ACOM and KC and Channing Bifford have been great on helping me get this first phase of Vision Zero started. We did a lot of videotaping, research, some grassroots gathering of information, crash data, all the important things that are needed for this next phase that we're getting ready to start. Casey's going to show a couple of videos. We wanted to get a kind of a branding for Pasco County to start us off, and kind of use that brand that I call for all modes of transportation, because Vision Zero is about Vision Zero for all modes, not just bike ped, but cars, all modes, vulnerable users as well. So our start was to be alert and look, and that's what this first video is about. We have the options with the video library that we have started with. We went out on 19 and Ridge Road and did several hours of videotaping. So we're going to just show you a couple first clips that we've done with phase one. We're going to entertain some questions if you want for phase one, but this is more about where we're going to go next with phase two. And phase two is going to be starting to be a little bit more noticeable, where we're going to engage and educate using this grassroots, the basis that we started with. I'm going to just let Casey take over now, because she'll be able to give you a little bit more information on the videos and the background of that first phase that they were a part of. All right, Casey.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Now, Tina, do you have the videos queued up, or you want me to go ahead and share my screen? Because I think you guys have them queued. Okay, and Marilyn, everyone's been really patient with COVID this year, and I agree. I haven't had the chance to get to you and tell you all the amazing things we've been doing.
Casey?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you're in your office, so you have to keep your mask on?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'm having a hard time hearing.
I know, and I'm not going to do a lot of talking, but I have to keep it on for our regulations here in my office. Yeah.
Well,
all right, so I'll let you guys show the video. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna go on mute so you guys can hear the video.
I think we got the video up and running.
It'd be nice to hear it though.
They're watching play in your room also, or you can have them check to see if they're seeing it.
Can they hear it?
No, we can't hear it. It's closed caption.
Hey, Tania, and guys, there's a thing where you have to play. You want it to play the sound before you click onto it. Channing, and I've learned this the hard way. There's something you have to do before you ever click onto the video, and it's the virtual world issue. It's not the video, but somewhere in there it says you have to allow audio to go. Channing, maybe you can weigh in on where it comes in. Manny actually found it for us earlier this year.
Casey, do you just want to try sharing your screen?
No, I don't think I can, Tania. Let's just show them at least the video and we'll get back to playing it so they can see it, because this one's just a short 15-seconder. And there's really nothing that's getting said, folks. It's just what you see. And this is to go out for the kids for the time change next spring. They're so very short. Mm-hmm.
Okay, how will the students receive this information on their cell phones or in their classrooms?
It could be a variety of things. Tina has been really doing a good job of reaching out to stakeholders, school board, sheriff's office, the county itself, on different ways that this can go out into social media before the time change for next spring. So we'll get back to you on all the avenues for getting it out.
Okay.
But Tina can kind of weigh in on that. She's been talking to all the stakeholders that could use that short reminder for the kids to stay visible.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Now, the next video is about a year and a half ago, the CAC and the board expressed an interest in really promoting the trails. And this was with Catherine Starkey narrating the video for us. There's not a lot to hear with the text on it, but let's show you the beautiful scenery we've been able to collect as we were out observing. And this was used, was going to use for the Gulf Coast Summit that we presented at last month. But being the virtual world, a lot of things have changed in what you can get across. So Tania, if you at least want to show the video, we'll work on the sound part next.
Oh, Catherine, nice
Yep,
look.
and she's talking about the priority. That's my husband and my brother. With COVID, that's my son, a coworker. With COVID, we didn't have actors and actresses to get out there, so we had my family. Tania was out there. We had everybody who was willing to get out there with us to try to be some cameos for us during COVID, because it really put a hurt on engagement activities. And there's Channing and Tina. And Tania's got a great cameo. Tina and I. And there's my family again. But Tina, what we can probably, and Tina, she's got a really good teaching video she's done. That's my son to the right, and Braden, who works with AECOM. But Steve works with us with AECOM, and he lives in Pasco off of Rangeland. But we'll get links out to everybody, Tina, when they're ready, and they can all watch it themselves and enjoy it, and the sound will work, okay? But just beautiful shots of how well the trails are coming together for Pasco County. And Tina, to my knowledge, this has not been put out, or are they showing it on the county's channel?
Not yet. We're in the process of putting it out there, especially since we just had the ribbon cutting for Starkey Gap. So that's the plan, is to start putting it out there. And Marilyn, you made a really good observation. And the first part of phase 2 is engaging all of our partners and stakeholders and getting everybody on the same page. And that's the first part of this next phase, is what you just talked about. Where are we going to get this information out to, who, through, how are we going to do it, especially in the virtual world now. But that first piece of phase 2 is using what we've got in phase 1 and how we're going to present it and how to get it out there. That first video was important because we're using crash data to help do some PSAs, I call them. But that first phase or first task in phase 2 is what you were just asking about, is engaging everybody, whether it be different municipalities, whether it be through parks, through communications, is getting all those folks that we can get out there to deliver the message, get us all on the same page and let them know what we have. Just a quick couple of good notes. We just did the Gulf Coast Safe Street Summit, and Casey won the Pasco County Vision Zero Hero Award, and Sam Bennett won Bob the Builder Award. So we're really excited about those 2 awards that Pasco got in our Safe Street Summits. And believe it or not, our Street Summit session was the top ranked session for the summit. So that's saying something, that what we're doing, getting out there, observing and engaging folks is an important part, especially with way things are changing with COVID. So, and ready to entertain some questions. We're excited about this next phase, taking what we started with and moving forward and getting closer to that Vision Zero.
Thank you. Now, do I understand that this is an action item that needs to be voted upon so that the contract continues?
Right, so what we're asking the CAC today is to approve the, scope of $48,892.04 to move on for Vision Zero Phase 2.
Okay, before we get into that, I would like to ask if there are any questions from the CAC. Well, I have comments to make. I don't have the full agenda in front of me, so I can't say well, maybe I can. Page 34 of the agenda includes the contract, or one of them. And by the way, are we approving I think there are 3 contracts in there for this that vary? Are we voting on just one, the first one?
There's only one scope of work, and that's for AECOM.
Okay.
And they break out their scope.
Right.
Different tasks.
Okay, the reason I bring that up is because on them, they need to update the current comptroller, who is Vicky Alvarez and not Paula O'Neill. Now I realize that that's something that would be caught later, but it's something that I observed and would like to have that corrected. There was also one small typo, but I'm not going to go into that. So with that being said, do we have a motion from this committee to proceed with Vision Zero Phase 2?
I'll make a motion that we proceed ahead with Vision Zero Phase 2 and the appropriate money to go.
I'll second that. Melanie.
We have a motion and a second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Do we have anyone who is, okay, all in favor? So with that, we can move on.
Ms. Brown, we wanted to divert to the 2 CAC, potential CAC at large members. They are here online. They wanted to speak with us today when we got down to CAC membership discussion, but unfortunately, due to time, they're asking to be heard to the body now.
I'm not quite sure. What you asking? I can't hear.
The CAC, the 2 at-large members that we discussed last month, that wanted to come and discuss being a part of this membership, they're online now. And for time's sake, we're asking that we move down to item 8.
Okay, item 8.
9, so that way they can discuss, or they can present to the body, so that way they can post it on live issues.
Okay, you mean CAC membership? So, all right, well, I thought you were commenting about what we were just talking about. So let me just say, we're finished then with the AE.com Zero Phase 2 discussion. Okay, so now what we want to do is move forward in the agenda to accommodate 2 potential CAC members, and that would be CAC membership discussion. All right?
Clint, would you like to introduce them?
Sure. Evidently, Mark Sophia does not have video, so I'm not sure, but both their lines are muted.
They're elevated now.
Oh, they're elevated? Okay. So the 2 individuals live over in the Port Richey area that I wanted to just bring before the board. Falami Pupla and his wife and children live in Port Richey, over near New Port Richey area. And then Mark Sophia lives in the New Port Richey area. I've known Mark about 10 years, and I've known Falami about 5. So I just want to at least let you guys meet them and see if they're, what you all think about them. I think they're 2 outstanding individuals.
What are their backgrounds?
So Mark Sophia is from New York, and he is a retired police officer. And I honestly don't recall, I know Falami's in healthcare.
And they have expressed an interest to be on the NPO CAC, and they understand the topics that are discussed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They are online, and if you want to ask them any questions or.
They can go ahead and present themselves. Can we unmute the line?
Hey, Falami?
Yes, sir.
Hey, can you turn your volume up?
Okay, sure. I'm here.
Hello, good
I
morning,
wanted to see
everybody.
your
Can you hear
smiling
me?
face this morning. I don't know if you have video. Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't, yeah.
So go ahead and just introduce yourself. Let them know about you and your family and where you're from and what area you live in and just the importance of being a part of this. I thought you'd have some encouraging and positive input to be a part of the board.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Clint, and good morning to everybody. My name is Falami Popola, and I grew up in Tampa, and about 5 years ago is when we made the move to Port Richey. So I'm married with 3 children, 3 girls, and I'm gonna need you guys to pray for me. My oldest is almost 10, and they're getting very excited about different things. But my background is I'm a healthcare professional. Currently, I'm an optician. I work at Walmart, the one in Hudson, and I've been in that field for about 16 years. When I first actually moved to Port Richey, I wanted to join the committee, but when I went to the Port Richey office, I was told I had to live in the incorporated part of the city, so that was a little bit of a setback. I remember Clint and I talked about that way back when, and now when this opportunity came up, I told him absolutely, I would love to be, part of, a committee that can make a difference in the local area where I live. So I'm very much a positive person. I like to, help people the best way I can, and that's about me in short.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Mark Sophia.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Little low. Volume's a little low.
All right. I'm not sure how to turn up my volume, but I'll try. Is that any better?
It's better.
Yes, sir.
I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
All right. Good morning. First of all, thank you, Clint, for inviting me to participate. As Clint said, my name is Mark Sophia. I'm originally from Rochester, New York. I retired there back in 2008 as a police supervisor. I originally moved to the Tampa area, and since my quote unquote retirement, I've worked for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I've been a law enforcement community relations consultant, and then I work for the Tampa Police Athletic League as their executive director of that recreational facility. And right now I'm the director of the Tarpon Springs Boys and Girls Club. Clint was my neighbor here in Newport Richey. I was blessed to have him as a neighbor, and that's how we got to know each other. And Clint knows my passion and my love for Pasco County. I think this is an amazing area with some amazing potential for growth and development. And anything I can do to be a part of it, to help, any time I have or any resources I have available to me, I just wanted to be a part of it. I think, I just think it's a fantastic area. I'm excited with everything that's happening around here. And if I can be a part of it, then I'm going to jump at that opportunity.
All right, thank you. So, with that, does this committee need to make a motion?
Yeah, you need to make a motion, and then we'll take this motion off and go forward.
Okay. So I'll put that motion forward. Do we have a
second?
Okay. I mean, I can't put that forward. Somebody else.
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
At large? Are they both at large or members?
Yeah, they're both going to be at large.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion.
I thought that at one time there's somebody that was supposed to take the place, or maybe it was you, Clint, that thought that was after, of Newport Richey. Is that not true?
Well, I'm the representative from Newport Richey.
Okay,
Yeah, that's CAC.
I think, yeah, you might be thinking of the board.
Yeah.
Was that now?
We're still waiting, I believe. I reached out to, Commissioner Starkey to find a replacement for Pepper.
Okay,
Because she does have to appoint that position. So I did reach out, I think she's doing her research, and she'll let me know shortly who she would like to appoint. But I was looking at a roster, and we had so many at-larges open, I figured we could go ahead and fill them.
Okay, so we have these two individuals, Mark and Falami, who will be at large. And we have a motion to approve with Sandy. Do we have, you have something else?
No, I was just commenting.
Who wants to, you, or did you make that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have Clint with a second. All in favor? Aye. And apparently no one is opposed, so we have approval. And thank you, Mark and Falami, for taking this into consideration. We look forward to meeting you in person someday.
Thank you.
Say next Thursday at the NPO meeting, if they could just make a brief appearance. So I'm gonna put them on the agenda item.
Right.
Our board members know we do have large members for the CAC, so they know.
And that would be the January meeting.
Next Thursday?
Oh, I'm sorry. The MPO board meeting. Okay,
That'll be
excellent.
virtual.
Right, okay. That would be the MPO board meeting, December 10. Okay, real good then. Thank you two very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, with that then, we have made that motion and voted, and now we can go back to the agenda, correct?
Thank you.
Oh, and thank you. Oops, I was gonna give you a pat on the back. I can't do that anymore. Now, it looks like we have another AECom, or did we do that already?
We have another one.
We do have another one. Okay, so we're back to Casey or Tina?
No, I'm going to present this item.
And this is B, under action items 5, right? 5B? Okay, very good.
So the purpose of, this is our, scope for the AECom, support for the UPWP, which is our Unified Planning Work Program, which is our budget that dictates what the NPO, planning and programming for over the 2-year span. And this is also including in-house, minor update of our public participation plan, which also dictates how we, the timeframes of when we put our public meeting notices, how long our documents should take, and things like that. We're doing the purpose of this particular task. As you know, we had Mandy retiring on Friday, and we've had some staff changes. And so right now, Mandy was in need of a few more able bodies to help us do work. So right now, we have solicited AECom to help us with this task, so that way we can keep everything afloat over the next few months. And to make it work as long until we get all of our incoming staff. As you know, we're looking for an NPO executive director. That takes time. We're looking for a principal planner and a senior planner. So we continue to looking for this staff. But while we're looking for staff, the work does not slow down. So as you all know, so we are now looking to bring AECom for about 6 months of help while we're in this gap of low staff. And that should cost us over the next 6 months. We're looking at spending about $48,892.04. So we're asking the board to approve, CAC members to approve today the scope of work that's presented to you.
Okay, do we have questions from the committee? Any questions? I do.
I just had one.
Yes.
You said you're looking for executive director, principal planner, and what was the third one? Senior planner, okay.
Any other questions? Okay, well, I do have one. So, Tania, you're saying that we still don't have an executive director? But we do, this county is looking for one?
Oh yes, we're
Yeah.
diligently
Right.
looking, but as you know, the holidays
Yeah.
are right around the corner, we're in them. So it's, people making moving during the holidays is a bit tough. So probably, we're looking at the new year.
Right. Sometime in the first quarter, hopefully. And then you say Manny is retiring on Friday.
Is Manny on the line?
I wish he were here today, but I want to just say for my part, because, I've been doing this for quite some time. Manny has been wonderful, very good resource on the staff. We're going to miss him. We're going to miss him a lot. but he deserves his time off now. So, all right. I believe we have a motion to approve and a second, right? So everyone in favor? But I'm sorry.
I didn't hear the first and second.
We didn't.
Oh, we didn't. Oh, I guess I'm okay. Then, I thought I heard that. Okay, so let us go ahead. Do we have an approval for item B, AE.com or AECom providing in-house staff assist?
Melanie, I will make a motion to allow AECom.
And,
I'll second.
okay, we have Larry with a second. We have Melanie who approved the motion. All in favor? Aye. Anyone? Okay. It appears that it is a full approval. Thank you to Nia and to Casey for taking care of this. And I'll just point out again, just make sure you double read those contracts so we have the right comptroller on there. Okay.
Thank you for picking
next
that out.
item.
We'll get it fixed. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Are we ready for item C?
Yes, we are.
Okay, under action items 5C, Federal Transit Administration, Public Transportation Safety Performance Targets. Who's presenting?
Kurt Geigel's on the line.
Oh, sure, because that's his area.
Yes.
Of course it is, Kurt.
Good morning, everybody.
There he is. Hi, Kurt.
How y'all doing today? So what had happened is as part of the Fixing America's Surface Transportation Act that was passed about 2 to 3 years ago from the federal government, they put in a lot of requirements for transportation systems and the entities that govern transportation systems. One of those is, and this is a tongue twister here, is called the Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan. And the PTASP, or the ASP as I call it. And what it is a document that requires us to bring out provide safety and transportation goals that we have to report to the federal government every year. This would have normally been done back in March, but if you remember back in March, we had a little thing called COVID, and FTA pushed it back to December of 31st that we have to have this in place. This is a requirement for Pasco County to be able to get its grant funding from FTA. So this will be eventually heading to the board on December 8th. And I'm just briefing you on it that we are having our target set. What we based it off of is both the MPO guidelines that were briefed, I believe last year or 2 years ago on underneath Florida's zero incident and accident program. So what we're doing is we're providing, we based it off of also our real world numbers. And then we're looking at various, thank you for bringing that up, various numbers to move forward. I can answer any questions about the different numbers that's there. This is just more of an advisory thing. It has to go through the BCC. By federal law, has to be the ones that have to approve it. Beyond that, I can answer any questions about the item.
Any questions about the item you say?
Yeah, or anything about any of that whole the safety performance target. I came up with it. I'll answer about anything. You know me.
I'm just having such a hard time hearing, but I'll just take it to the committee. Do we have questions for Kurt? Okay, I have no questions. There are none. Do we need to make a motion on this or?
No,
okay.
It's advisory.
Kurt, is there anything else you needed to add?
No, we'll wait for my normal update. I've got some other great news for you, so it's going to be pretty good.
All right, very good. So then we do need a motion to approve this. Do we have one?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Sandy, and a second? That would be Clint. Clint. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And thank you, Kurt, for bringing us up to date. We appreciate it. All right. will this be on the January agenda then, as an update, this item? For Kurt?
No.
Okay, it's just something he'll continue. From what I heard, because I couldn't really hear that well, he still has to do some.
He'll be going to the BOCC is what he said.
Oh, okay. That's the one that December 10? That one? He'll be.
No,
okay.
December 8th is BOCC director.
Oh, I see. All right. All right, very good then. Do we have any other questions before we move on? Okay, so with that, we now have status reports and presentations. This is under 6, item A, 6A, Regional Long Range Transportation Plan Status Update. Will that be you, Tania?
And I just wanted to go over, so just to fill you guys in, we've been looking regionally at the counties that surround us, which is Sarasota, Polk, Sarasota, Manatee, Polk, Hillsborough, Pinellas, Commando, Citrus, and we've made a regional long range transportation plan. So over the last 18 months or so, we've been working on it, it's finally finalized. And I wanted to bring this regional transportation plan to the CAC. I know last time we talked about you wanted a more robust overview of the projects that are going on, not only here in Pasco, but also how it helps our region. So I have, I'm going to hone in on the Pasco portion. I know you guys have the packets at home. You can go through the Pinellas and the Serenado and all that, but I wanted to really focus in on the Pasco portion of this because we have some really good stuff going on.
Okay.
So I'm just going to give you a brief overview. So individual MPOs and TPOs, as I said, created a long-range transportation plan for their counties. The regional long-range transportation plan is a work product of the chair's coordinating committee. We meet every quarter. Like I said, it's the 8 surrounding counties, MPOs that meet quarterly. It's the longest standing regional transportation planning compact among the metropolitan planning organizations in the state of Florida. And like I said, it includes Hernando, Citrus, Hillsborough, Pasco, Pinellas, Polk, and Sarasota, Manatee counties. This group also includes advisors from the Tampa Bay Area Regional Transit Authority, which we know as TBARTA, the Florida Department of Transportation, the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, and the Pinellas Suncoast Authority and Hillsborough Area Regional Transit. The CCC prepares plan studies and priorities for regional significant projects. They review the impact of significant land use decisions, shares current travel data and trends, and adopts regional transportation plans and priorities for highway, public transportation, and multi-use trail improvements. Our LRTP, which is the Regional Long-Range Transportation Plan document, includes information about regional transit vision, regional trail vision, each MPO and TPO major projects of regional significance. In Tampa Bay is placed as a mega region and a list of projects that are in progress or planned for the future. So if you look above, we have several regional projects. As it stands right now, we're kind of going to do a brief overview. So as we know, the SR 52 widening from 41 Development Brothers, this is the second half. If you guys know, we came down 52, you already see it starting.
Right.
Last year we had the program scheduled for the first half, and now this is the second half that's being completed. If you guys also are driving down 52, the 52 extension on Clinton Avenue, US 98, you see that's happening right now as a regional product. You see the 41. So if you remember, about a year or two ago, we started the 4154 advisory committee to figure out what the community wanted as far as how to go about fixing that intersection. Did you want to fly over? Did you want to run the lanes? We had a contend with CSX on that railroad track that's there. So there's been some great developments with that. We're moving into the cost feasible in the next couple of months. We will know the definitive measure that will be taken for the 4154 intersection. So they're coming up about February, March of next year. We should have updates on that. So that's been a great advancement. We have the I-75 Overpass road interchange that phase 2 has been funded through the Transportation Regional Incentive Program, which we do in the Chair's Coordinating Committee. So we did get funding for that. We have the U.S. Railroad widening from Cost Road to State Road 56. And then we have several trail projects that are coming underway. The Southern Coast Trail Overpass in State Road 54, the Wishla-Coochie State Trail Extension, Orangeville Trail, and the Southern Coast Parkway 2. So we have quite a few regional products. Oh, and let's not forget the divergent diamond. As we all know, when we go to the mall, we're getting a little backed up, but that is going along. Construction has started again. So we have lots of regional plans and products going on. And we're hoping to hear, we meet with that doc, I think at the end of this week, to talk about the tentative work program, and we'll be bringing you those updates as well. So I know that was a lot.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Yes.
I sit on both the task force for 54 and 41. And there's no definitive situation that was actually, there were about 2 major things that we said we would sort of like. Now, whatever happened to the parallel section situation that, because that was one of them.
I think it's Jensen is,
totally dropped that.
I'm not sure.
Cost feasible on what?
Is Jensen on?
Is that the perpetual flow intersection development that you were?
You know, it's kind of like the divergent diamond.
That was that perpetual flow, right?
And parallel flow.
Yeah, right. And that was one of the.
They're still working on what actually they're doing the workup. So they're going to come up with 3 different estimates for different costs and different what they decided to do.
Are they still considering that though? Because that was one of part of our top list situation.
Oh,
there wasn't a bridge.
Oh, Jensen, you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
Hello, Jensen.
Did you have any? Did you have any more on that?
No, that's my question.
Melanie, were you on that task force? Okay. Well, I was also on the task force, and that was exactly what I was going to bring up, what Sandy mentioned. We probably spent about 1.5 years of meetings, if not more.
Well, I mean, between the 2 of them.
Well, there was a team of us, of about 30 people, maybe, give or take.
It was 2 years long.
Yeah.
About 2 years? All right. I was being generous there.
Yeah, with a year on phase 1 and a year on phase 2.
Right. But what I want to say to that is that we put in a lot of time with the staff and other. Okay, I'd like to get that back. Whatever you took off, please put it back. Please put it back. Okay, I'm not done yet. But when this group, whoever addresses that issue, those of us who volunteer our time for not only being here and traveling great distances, but also doing extra work for special task forces. We want to see our endeavors produced, and even if they're not viable, we want them to be considered. The perpetual flow design was one of them, and there were a few others. They can be found. That was being handled by Ali. What was his last name? Well, you know, Ali. Atefi. All that information would be with whatever he left behind. I'm just making that comment because I don't want to see that particular item being a fresh start when we spent so much time providing resident input as well as staff input and other persons who are not on these various committees. So with that being said, can we hopefully expect that? Or do I have to write a letter to someone as these?
No, and that's why I said it's coming. There's more information for it coming.
Okay.
About when they finalize the
Okay.
cost feasible study.
Then
And I was getting Jensen on the line, but I think there's some.
that information forthcoming is important, true. But they need to know in advance that this is what we're saying today. So they can make sure that the information that we get at another time isn't totally, you know, in other words, you know, we do want them to know this in advance, because whomever is working on this, if they just come back and say, oh, we're going to do this, and then they'll say, oh, well, didn't you do this? Well, we didn't know. Well, they need to know in advance. I'm just saying.
I think, Tanya, what the situation is the FDOT told us that this was important, these phases, to go about deciding what was going to happen. And so we don't want them to say, you know, they went to us and this is what happened and get a check off on that when that's not what we discussed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jensen's on the line.
Hi, Jensen.
To shed some light on where we're at.
Hey, good morning, Marilyn. Good morning, all.
Oh, hi, I'm fine.
So with the 54 and 41 interchange, I was looking at that, and on your multimodal priority list from the MPO, which is the list that you guys approve of priority projects every year, that's currently the highest that it's ever been. This year for funding consideration in the tentative work program, I believe it is number 5 is the priority for 2020, and that's the highest it's ever been. So that's a good thing in order to be considered for funding sources for the next phase of that project. For the question on specifically what's being looked at, all of those are still being looked at in terms of different concepts for the intersection. We still have yet to choose one specific design for that intersection. So those are still being worked on. And so those will still kind of go through that vetting process. We haven't chosen anything yet. Once we do, obviously we'll come back and give updates to not only the CAC, but also the other committees, as well as the board and as well as the MPO for that specific intersection. But being so high up on the list now as number 5, again, that's your kind of source to get a lot of your funding for the actual project. So the higher that it goes on the priority list, the more of a priority it is shown for state and federal funds to be allocated to the project.
You know, I understand all that, and I appreciate your defining and explaining. All we're saying is that those of us who attended the many, many meetings for the specific task force to address 41 and 54, let me see, where is it right here? The intersection in that area, we just don't want that time and that input that was then voted on by the entire group to just be put on the side or not even considered. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally understandable, Marin. I completely understand with your concern.
All
Yeah.
right. Just putting that out there. All right.
I have one comment, maybe.
I'm sorry.
One question. Is there a timeline you have for this kind of I know you got a couple steps. What kind of a timeline are you looking at? You have any dates kind of in mind when you got to get this done by? I'll tell you why. This has been, you know, I put the Lowe's out there years ago, and so I know the problem. We had to do lanes and everything with them at that point in time. So this has been going on way past 2000, and to be honest, the same discussion I'm hearing right now is basically the same discussion I heard then. Okay, so here we are in 2020. So, and I know it's gone up the ladder board, and that's good. But funding's always been the issue. You know, we can do all the design work we want, is the funding's not there or whatever. So I'm just kind of wondering, okay, before we're spending, man hours and time and effort by staff. Just kind of what kind of a time frame we're looking at. If it is such a high priority, what is that time frame going to look like? Okay, we want to have design and want to have the plan first. Here's the 3 plans or whatever. We're going to try to determine those first and their cost, and then start moving forward. I'd like to have some kind of we need some kind of a time frame, because we're also going to be impacting a lot of people out there, and I don't have a dog in that race anymore out there or anything, but there are, a lot of businesses, there's a lot of input that's going to have to be, taken into by a lot of people, including the people that travel through the intersection. So, if a time frame could be developed, if it isn't there, I think that would be very helpful for when we're trying to say, okay, hey, we're moving forward in this thing, and okay, we've completed step 1 and 2, but we still got to go, we still got to get the money, and we still got to do these kind of things. That's my only question.
I can find out for you based on a more specific timeline. I know the last time that we came to the committees and to the board on this project was last October. And since then, we lost the PD&E specialist who was working on that. That was William that came and did that presentation. But I believe for concept development, we were looking at the time frame of early 21 to kind of have the final concept vetted. But I'm going to go check with our planning and environmental group that oversees the PD development on the projects, and I will get back to you guys with that information as soon as I can, okay?
Thank you, Jensen. Any other questions for Jensen or for Tania?
She's going to talk a little bit about the trails as well.
Who is? Oh, Jensen?
So, yeah.
Oh, okay, great. All right.
Go ahead, Tina.
Tina Russo, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So I wanted to touch on the 4 last trail projects that are on this list. But first off, 2 trail projects that we had ribbon cuttings from. Starkey Gap, we had a fantastic ribbon cutting just a couple of weeks ago, and the Coastal Anclote Trail opened just a few weeks ago. 2 great trails that have been on a list for a while, but now are here. So the Suncoast Trail Overpass at State Road 54 is a penny for Pasco project. There has been a consultant hired, and we're in the process of feasibility design with that trail. We're looking at some other options other than just the overpass at 54 for the Suncoast Trail due to the large amount of people that park at that location. So we're looking at other options other than just the overpass at that location. With the Coochie State Trail extension to the Hardy Trail is also in the works. Consultant ACON's hired, working on moving forward with the construction of that project as well. Orange Belt Trail, we have funding for construction. We're getting ready to do our route study at the beginning of next year with the plans of starting that first segment, which will be basically at Little Road, County, Line Road along Trinity, all the way up as far as we can get that first segment with those construction dollars. And something that really is a big connection for us as far as the coast to coast is that Suncoast Parkway 2. If you have not been on that north section, that has a trail that goes from 98 all the way up with Suncoast Parkway 2. So those are our current trail projects that are moving forward. We also have the overpass at 52, a penny for Pasco, that's in the work, and working on the overpass at 54 in the Starkey Gap as well. So those are several trail projects that we have in the works, with 2 that were just completed with ribbon cutting.
Okay. Any questions on this particular topic? Thank you, Tina. All right. We don't need to vote on this. This is just primarily information. Right. Is there anything else we need to add before moving on? Oh, wait a minute. I do. Of course I do. The Suncoast Parkway, Part 2, or 2. Is that specific to Pasco? Just Pasco County? The Suncoast Parkway 2? And
No,
what is that?
it's actually in Hernando County into Citrus County. But there is the Parkway Connection Toll Road and the Trail Connection, which is really, really big regional connection for Pasco, especially since we just completed the Starkey Gap.
Okay, so the Suncoast Parkway 2, which is included in that Pasco section of the MPO district, only goes as far as Citrus, you say? I mean, that proposed section of the continued development only goes up to Citrus, you say, Tina? Hernando and Citrus?
Correct. That's Suncoast Parkway 2, which I think adds like a 17 miles to the current Suncoast Parkway 1. And Jensen can add, if he wants to, any other conversation about Turnpike and Parkway 2. But again, that's a major connection trail-wise for us because we are soon to be the largest continuous trail in the Southeast United States.
Okay. So then Pasco County and its Suncoast Parkway continued development, does that have anything to do with what's being currently discussed, MCORS? At this time, MCORS, the multi-corridor transportation, whatever, what is it called? Multi-use corridor for regional economic significance. Is that going to be part of it? I'm just curious. Or am I getting ahead of myself here?
Hey, Marilyn, this is Jensen again from DOT.
Oh, Jensen, go ahead, thank you.
So those are part of the MCOR discussions. However, we're currently only in the early development phase of the MCOR projects. That was just kind of getting collective input from the public across the state of Florida. So in terms of specifics on what the trail connections may or may not look like, that has not been developed. But as part of that entire MCOR package, trail systems along those roadways would be a consideration.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Jensen.
You're welcome.
All right, then. I didn't think we'd be getting that far ahead on that, but very good. Now, does anyone here have any further questions regarding this item? Okay. Then since it is primarily informational, we'll move on to Tania. Do we have the Pasco County Public Transportation updates? We did with Kurt, right?
No, we still have it.
Kurt?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
There he is.
A lot of good things have happened and some, the future is still going out there. Some of the good things, if you remember correctly, we started our Route 20 up in Shady Hills. That has been going very well. We're seeing a slow but steady increase. Unfortunately, because it's a new route in the resurgence of the COVID issues, unfortunately, we're seeing kind of a plateau right now, but we'll see more and more coming along as there. The other good news is that I've been talking about it for about 2 years of getting a new system in place for our paratransit software. We actually now have completed the procurement process, and we are now getting a company called EcoLane to come in and be our demand response system. The good news about this is you've all had Grubhub or Uber or wherever it says, hey, your food is this far away, and you see the little car driving down the street. Well, guess what? PSPT will now be able to say, hey, this is where your bus is, and you'll be able to see it driving down the street with your phone. So someone who was sitting waiting for their pickup will know exactly where the vehicle is and be able to determine how far away it is with an accurate traffic update. So it pulls in Waze and Google Traffic and says, as you all know, trying to get to the 4154 interchange on 8 o'clock in the morning is kind of difficult, slows things down. That is included in the timeline that's going to be given to you. Other features is online applications and online booking. Customer can sit at home, book a trip, And then all we have to do is verify the funding source, and they'll be able to do it real time at home, and we'll be able to help the customer do that. Lastly is the one that's the biggest thing is what's called our will call app calls. That's where someone puts in and says, I don't know when I'm going to be done with the doctor's office or wherever they're going. You say, hey, I'm done, come pick me up. Well, actually are expecting a very large decrease in the time it takes us to pick people up and get all that information to somebody. So we're really pleased on that. That will happen on the December 8th meeting. That's when the board will approve it. I'll probably have a phone call with EcoLane probably the 9th of December to get the process rolling. If everything goes well, I'm knocking on wood here, if everything goes well, I hope to have everything in place and ready to go by February 1st. Our drop dead date, though, is still March 31st. I'm not going to put it out there until it's ready to go. So we hopefully get it done by February 1st, but we have all of February and March to get it in place, and that's the goal. Once we get to the actual process and see it up, I'll actually have, this is what you'll see in some applications that you can look at to see what actually is going to happen. Some of the challenges we have going forward is with all the COVID our budget decreases for this year, we're experiencing some, we'll have to be very careful on how we spend things. And so some of the expansions that we've had in the past, we're having to reassess, and some of the operational stuff that we're going to do, we're going to have to really look at to see where we're going to be 2 years down the road with all the impacts from COVID on what we're doing. Other than that, any questions for us?
Right. Do we have any questions from the committee?
I have a question.
Yes, Clint.
Kurt, this is Clinton Wynn. You touched base on the Shady Hills bus route right at the very beginning. How is that going on?
It's right now, I think the uptick in COVID has affected it, i.e. the ridership. It's plateaued a little bit, but it is it's a slow but steady climb, if that makes sense.
Okay, and then I'm not sure if it would be you who I would discuss with, but about the traffic issue in front of 5A High School on 52. I know I'd brought an email to Tania about that, and then also in front of Shady Hills Elementary, that school area. I just didn't know, I'm not sure if this is appropriate time, but just wanted at least on the traffic flow there.
The Shady Hills area? Are you talking about where over off of 19?
The school, when remember they were going on and off, leaving the school, and it was just a madhouse when people were pulling over in the grass and the dirt. That had to do with Kurt?
No,
yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
We do have a 5A issue because we go down the backside of 5A where we are pulling off with the grass. I met with facilities, and they have a new cement contract that we can do for the backside of 5A. We're going to put a cement cutout for the bus. I think it's Congress Street. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's Congress Street. To stop back there, we're going to actually have a cutout where the bus can pull off the side of the road for there. But the other issues, we do have an issue with Northwest School because they're at Hudson. They're doing Hudson Elementary, where they're doing not Hudson Elementary, I'm sorry, Northwest Elementary and Hudson Junior High. They're doing they're rebuilding the school. So off of 19, we had to do a deviation to avoid just what you're talking about. The traffic in the morning and the evening as people go in and out.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions from the committee? All right. Well, this is an information update, so there's no requirement for a motion to pass. And thank you, Kurt, very much. We appreciate it. All right, I'll proceed. We've already taken care of under other business, the CAC membership discussion. Now, wait a minute, didn't I miss the congestion?
Yes.
I did indeed. I want to bring that up. That's item 7 under status reports, congestion management. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, does anybody have any items for congestion management?
Okay, and we don't have anything that needs to be updated. Does anybody here have any items that need? Okay, well, with that.
Is that where Clint's information should come?
Either that or you can
That's-
round table.
Yeah, because I mean, to me, what you're talking about is congestion management.
Yeah.
So
That would be appropriate under that.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, the Shady Hills, route, the school safety team is working on that because it is in front of the school accident brigade.
Okay.
So they're in progress. I can't give you how long it would take. Tina, what are you going to the next school safety meeting that you can provide an update?
Yeah, real quick, I'm part of that safety committee, and John Boucher and Ben Cap, who's with traffic operations, they're working on a couple different options on trying to help that situation at Shady Hills Elementary. So they're working on it, and that's the appropriate group to work on that situation.
Tina, that would also be in regards to 5A high school as well, that turn lane, that is on the eastbound direction.
Just send it to me in an email, and our next meeting, I think, actually won't be till January, but I can still send it to John and through that committee to get it to the appropriate people, and that might end up being Ben Cap and the sheriff's office, depending if there's a crossing guard there or a patrol there.
Thank you.
All righty then. Under, excuse me, under the congestion management, do we have anything else to add or to hear about?
Under the roundtable last meeting, I discussed the light that's going in front of Astoria, and I know that they had stated that it's going to be installed, but do we have a date that it's going to be installed?
Astoria light installation, Tina, do you have a date when it's going to be installed? Or is it just coming soon?
So, and Jensen might be able to add a little bit more to it because it is an FDOT project. Again, the delay on that signalization at Astoria Parkway and 54 was due to the delay in the poles being shipped. So I believe they're in the queue. So once those poles get here, they can continue the installing that signalization. I believe all the conduit and everything's in place. So I know they're hoping the first of the year for that installation to happen. But again, there was a delay on the poles as far as the installation goes.
Yeah, Tina, that was the last that I've heard as well. This is Jensen at FDOT. Yeah, I concur with Tina's comments there. Yeah.
Thank you, Jensen.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you. And I'm glad that you were able to bring that up.
And while I'm just checking off the list, the last meeting, somebody had stated that they had noticed, and I don't always go out to the east side that much at 56 and 75, but did we find out why that construction stopped out there at the interstate in 56?
It's going forward.
It is going forward, but it
forward now. I think Jensen was reporting on that last time.
And actually, I think there's a closure coming up this weekend on so they can do more construction. There's a closure, I think it starts at 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. starting on the 4th or 5th or something like that, a few days, where they're working on it at night. So there's definitely a lot of things happening there.
Not sure where.
But, if you want a timetable, sorry.
Do you know when the construction initially stopped?
Was that for Jensen?
Yeah.
Jensen?
Tina, can you repeat that?
Oh, okay. I said the question from Clint was why did construction initially stop? We know it started again, but we wanted to know why it stopped.
I don't have any information on why it stopped. I know that they were, the contractor, DAV, was operating very slowly, just to start off with. I know the construction started back in April of 2019. And they obviously got pressure from the Board of County Commissioners, specifically Mike Moore, back in late October and early November. They've also now been pressured by DOT to get back on schedule. We obviously can levy fines on the contractor for days late past the contract date. I know that our Secretary Gwynn has also contacted the contractors and kind of made them aware of when the project was supposed to be finished, which was 800 days after construction started, which would have ended the project in around April of 2021. Obviously, since the delay has occurred, they being the contractors were saying that they could get it done by August of 2021. But we again have reminded them that any day past that original 800 days is they could be fined for any of those days afterwards. So that's kind of what they've done on the DOT side. In terms of speeding up construction, the contractors have alerted us that they have sped up the construction to get back onto schedule, or as close as they can get. So alluding to the lane closures, I know that the southbound ramp onto 56 from 75 southbound, and then the ramp going to northbound 75, those are kind of where they're focusing their efforts right now in terms of construction. So that's why those ramps have been having nighttime closures, as well as detours using County 54 and Bruce B. Downs up to County 54 to get back on that interchange. That's essentially the latest I have. If you have any more specific questions, I would love to entertain them if I could. But that's kind of all the information I have on that project right now.
Okay.
I do have one pointer though. I think the northeast corner, the entrance going to the north, especially coming from like Wiregrass or something, that the exits are marked. The exit there is marked so poorly, you don't know which lane it's in, and it goes down to nothing sometimes, and sometimes you got to get way back and start it. It's just very poorly marked, for traffic coming through there at a pretty high rate of speed. And so I think, if there was a little more marking there, maybe they can even spray it on the road they're going to be tearing up. But I think it really needs to be a little clearer there. The other ones are just traffic, but you're going to have a lot of traffic going through that intersection. But the marking of that one, you have more room to do it on the one going southbound, which, you don't have as many problems other than traffic in normal. But the other ones, because you're doing so much there, is very confusing to a driver. I've gone through it many times. I've been confused myself. So, if I'm coming from Wiregrass Mall, towards the interchange, when I come towards that interchange, you don't know where to get into the exit line. It is very, one time it's way back, and sometimes it's like way up in the very front part. You make the turn like right then. So it's very confusing as to how it's marked. And I see cars coming over from like one or two lanes saying, "Oh, I got to get off." They didn't know it, and it's just very, very poorly marked with the way they have it there. The other ones are pretty clear. The other routes, I take those too. So.
Yeah, I agree on that. I actually live right around the corner from this intersection, so I'm using it all the time. In terms of the lane markings, in terms of lane markings and the signage, that's all done by the contractor during the construction period. So that's a lot of the reasons of why those change. And they're obviously not permanent markings on the roadways, and obviously they can't put up the permanent signage yet because that would even confuse people more because they're not in the this, that, and the other. I will check and see if there's a little bit better in terms of, I know that they were able to put on the ramps to get onto the southbound 75 if you're coming from Wesley Chapel and the shops at Wiregrass, to put on that you're getting in the southbound lanes versus going over the bridge and continuing on 56. I'll see if there's something we can do there. I know that one of the problems that we've actually been having is because of the light queuing at the easternmost signal, because obviously in the past we've had a lot of serious crashes on I-75 northbound, north of Bruce B. Downs, as the traffic that is getting off at the exit on 56 to go left, specifically towards Land of Lakes, has kind of queued off on 75 towards Bruce B. Downs. And we've obviously been having some of those kind of crashes down there. So there is more of a signal priority to get those people to go west onto 56, which kind of queues up the 56 westbound traffic towards like the Mercedes-Benz dealership and the Goodwill. We've been having what we're calling lane divers that will get into the 75 queue ramp there And then at the very last second, they will merge over to the right to continue west onto 56. And so that's kind of what we've been seeing with some of those specific people that are kind of waiting till the last minute to kind of avoid the queuing to get across the bridge and decide to slide over like they're going to exit on 75 and then get over the last second to continue on towards the outlets. There's really not much we can do about those people, but I will check and see if there's something we can do about the ones who are genuinely just kind of confused about the signage there to get them through the actual intersection.
Okay, thank you, Jensen. Do we have any other questions about anything regarding management, congestion management? Okay, then we can proceed on to.
Hello, Marilyn. Steve.
Oh, Steve, hi. I didn't know you were there.
I have a question for Jensen. And I think Jensen answered my question some months ago about having a temporary traffic light installed at Clinton and Prospect during construction. And I think you said then, Jensen, that it's very difficult to do that when a permanent light fixture will be placed there once construction is finished. I encourage any of you who are leaving Dade City today and going back west to Newport Richey or Hudson, Holiday, wherever, if you have the time, go down, leave Dade City and go down to Clinton and take Clinton down to that intersection. Tell me about your traffic back up there at noon, and tell me if you have any problems getting through there. It's just a real congestion issue for the Dade City area for people trying to get home and get over to 75 without a traffic light. It has improved. The sites have improved there. The sighting has improved since trees removed during the construction, and it's opened that intersection up so at least you can see now because there were a lot of barriers to sight before. But I would still be a proponent of having a temporary traffic light put up there. And I don't know if Project Jensen is still on target for the time frame to be completed or not. That'll end my comments there. Thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing that up again, because I remember when you originally brought that up several months ago. So, Jensen, can you speak to this?
Yeah, that project, the 52 extension from 75 to Clinton Avenue, that one is on time, if not a little bit ahead of schedule. So that's good news there. Again, with that, the cost to the contractor putting in a temporary signal is something that is a lot of times cost prohibitive until the final signalization, which is what I said back when I made the first comment to that. But I'll continue to check with the project manager on that to see if there's some other kind of implementation that may be more feasible, such as a three-way stop potentially in terms of a stop sign there. Because I think right now it's just Clinton Avenue that has the stop and Prospect continues free flow. But maybe it's something that it could be a temporary three-way stop until the signalization is put in when the corridor gets completed over towards that intersection. So I'll keep checking with the project manager and potentially with Pasco County to see if there's something we can do temporarily until we get the full final signalization.
Thank you, Jensen.
Welcome.
Jensen, there's one other thing to consider on that same intersection, because I drive through it every day. It's heavy truck traffic going to the construction debris site on the other side of 301. So we have a lot of trucks go through that intersection on a constant basis, and they can't make the turn, okay? So if they come down to Prospect, they cannot turn. If they come down Clinton, they can't make the turn onto Prospect without stopping traffic. And I've stopped many times to allow the truck to make the turn, okay? And stay back 100 feet or so. It's like I can make the turn. And so that is plugging up your traffic coming to the, going to the west on Clinton as well. So I don't know if there's a turn lane that can be done, but those trucks cannot make the turn. I saw it today. There's probably 6 or 7 trucks in that lane when I came through at about 8:30 this morning. That's a normal occurrence. Trucks go both ways through that thing at all times. They're out there at the demolition site about 5 a.m. after they've been delivering, getting out there, and then they just through all the morning. And you're putting a lot of it's 2-lane roads in 2 different directions, and they can't make the turn.
Is it are the trucks coming from State 52 south on Prospect to take a left on Clinton?
They're coming 52 because it's the only way to get there. 52, they turn right on Prospect. I'm going toward the east. They go about that quarter mile, and then they turn left onto Clinton. Okay, so you got that truck traffic going that direction. That's where they go in and go towards the place. And then when they come back, they come down Clinton, they go eastbound on Clinton, come to Prospect, and they can't make the turn getting onto Prospect. And then they finally do make the turn, come down to Happy Hill where there is a light, and then they get back onto 52. So that's where your traffic, that's
so that's where they're having the issue.
They have to wait, so that plugs everybody up.
So that's where having the issue is.
Unless you put a way back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's an issue of the trucks turning, when they turn eastbound onto Clinton, it backs up the traffic that is queuing at the stop sign. And then when the trucks want to turn northbound onto Prospect, they can't because of the traffic coming south on Prospect. Okay. And now that I understand. Yeah, I'll make that note and see if there's anything that we can do temporarily again with that kind of stop control there.
All right, Jensen, thank you. Any more comments about this particular topic at Prospect and Clinton or anything else? All right, then. Well, at this time, we now proceed to the CAC member roundtable for either other additional comments you want to bring up or agenda topics you want to be added to the future. We'll start with Becky, is it?
Yes.
Do you have anything? I'm sorry, Tania?
We didn't do the CAC membership discussion. I just wanted to go back to that real quick. When did we have our last elections? I believe it was last December. Correct?
Oh, I thought it was January.
Last January. Okay.
Yes.
So we are coming up for elections.
That's correct.
Keep that in mind. In January.
Okay.
I know some of you came in the middle, so did you have the option to continue? So I just want to put that in.
Okay, well, very good.
Back of your head. If you
yes. That'll be one of the first agendas after minutes.
Yes.
We'll probably have that. Thank you for bringing it up. It'll be on the January 6th agenda. I have been chair for a year, and now it will be open. So any one of you will be able to step forward if you wish, and we will discuss further at that meeting. Okay. Anything else? Okay. All right. Thanks so much.
I do have a question. Yes. Can you tell us who is left to be at large and that needs to be appointed? Because I know my alternate that's supposed to be for me, we've never seen or heard from him. Is that something that I speak to Lance Smith about, finding a new alternate?
Yeah, we've sent letters, we've responded, we haven't gotten feedback. So maybe it is time to bring Lance into the discussion.
Okay.
About what's happening there, because I think.
Okay.
That's emails about if he's coming or not.
Gotcha. And then are there any other at-large open spots that we need to be looking at, or?
No, those two members.
Fill that.
Salami and Mark will fill the at-large. We have a lot of alternate CAC positions open. I do need to get with the councilman or Mayor Tremblay from Port Richey because he doesn't have a CAC designated CAC member
Jania?
or an alternate.
Well, okay, that brings up a good question I have. At several meetings, I have mentioned that I spoke with Mayor Tremblay in March, and he suggested Tom Scintilla, one of the city council people, and I then proceeded to give that information to staff. Does that mean staff does not follow up, or I don't have any, I'm from Newport Richey. I would not follow up. So who follows up with the individual who was suggested by the mayor?
I can definitely do that.
Yeah. Mayor Scott Tremblay, back in March, he and I spoke, and he suggested Tom. I have mentioned that a couple of times. I was wondering if perhaps I was supposed to be following up on that, but I don't think so. It's not my area. So I want to bring that up because I would like to have that representation if possible.
Oh, and
all righty.
Marilyn, for your informational purposes, for Councilman Smith, the city of Newport Richey, wrote a letter to Dan Biles and elected Matt Murphy as the replacement for
the board member. Yeah. All right, then that would be the MPO directors board. The directors. Yes.
He will be up.
All right. Now, gosh, Jeff Starkey was the representative, and he moved out of the city.
Yes.
Who is the current chair of the MPO board?
Right now, it will be Lance Smith. Well, we have elections next week, but Lance Smith will be acting until we do elections. Then he can see if he'd like to take the chair position. He's the vice chair right now. But
who's the vice chair?
Lance Smith. But
I see.
Was the chair.
Okay. All right. But who's working as chair right now?
Oh, we have not had anything in
well, of course, you didn't.
When we go into this meeting, we'll have new chair and vice chair.
That'll be the December meeting on the 10th.
Thursday.
Okay. Do I hear questions out there? Okay. All right, thank you. And then thank you for following up on that. All right, now, so Larry, you were talking. Did you have anything else to add regarding the roundtable and future agenda?
I have one thing on the roundtable, maybe. It's kind of in the same area we just discussed, the Clinton 52 prospect area. It's on 52, they're from Happy Hill to even actually through, we have a new light at St. Leo, for example, which was terrible because, kids were coming out of there and it's a lot of traffic coming into a 55-mile-an-hour road, basically, even though it was marked less. But the same thing is occurring basically at Lake Jovita. We're sending all this traffic on from Clinton now over to it, and now we got the heavy trucks besides with no other really way to go. And they leave the one intersection at Happy Hill and 52 and clocking anywhere from 45, 55 to 65 miles an hour, between there and St. Leo, and then they come down to 35. Unfortunately, there's a big intersection in the middle for Lake Jovita. And at Lake Jovita, you have truck traffic coming in to service all those homes and everything in there. And they have a guard gate and it backs up in front of it and hurts the visibility. It's hard enough to blend into a road that's 45 to 55, from a dead stop as opposed to, what's actually there. So I think it needs to be looked at, or maybe even some temporary sign reducing the speed from Happy Hill to St. Leo, 40. I mean, 45 doesn't slow them down. You got 45 in one spot, it goes to 55, and then you got to go to 35 in St. Leo. Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But they ignore it anyways, pretty much, because they're kind of frustrated from sitting in that traffic at the other one. And so then they just kind of go. And anyways, I know personally, I was an offender bender there the other day, about 2 weeks ago. And it is, and my vision was blocked kind of going out because you got truck traffic coming in, you got people backed up because of the guard gate, and then you're battling all that, and then you're trying to merge into a high speed intersection. It's pretty difficult. So not giving any excuses,
Larry, this is Steve. I want to add to that. When you're pulling out of Lake Jovita, and I know exactly where you had your fender bender, when you're leaving Lake Jovita trying to turn left or head east on 52, because of the hill that's there, the sight lines for someone coming down, a truck or anybody else coming down 55 miles an hour from St. Leo area, you can't see them until they're at the top of the hill. And that's where you have to turn. And I know there's a turn lane to help you get over there, but it can be really frightening to pull out and see a big rock truck going at 55, 60 miles an hour cresting that hill when you got to pull and turn left. So I know exactly what you're saying. The sight lines are very poor there.
Okay. Are we ready to proceed at this point? Clint, do you have anything to add for future agenda topics or the roundtable?
I think I met my limit.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
I have something to say.
And I would, Becky.
The round table kind of went from Becky.
Yeah, I noticed that. I know. The guy kind of took over.
It wasn't exactly a round table.
You didn't have anything? Okay.
I just wanted to say for information purposes, the light in 301 at Pretty Pond is started, and it is winter and winter residents. So any of us locals that are there I would caution to go around 301 for the next few months. It's a 12-month process of getting those two lights in. There's two of them. So I'm trying to get word out to any locals to say, let's try to get off that 301 in that area if at all possible, because it's going to be it's going to be great when it's done, but it's going to be a long 12 months.
Well, how would that word get out?
So, as far as anytime we're in local places, we just try to tell people, if you live here and you know the back roads, please do it.
I live over on the west.
Right, you do. Yes, absolutely.
So I don't know that area at all. However, you bring up an item that means it needs to be give information to the community.
Yeah, and I'm not sure the best way to do that.
I would suggest perhaps the Chamber of Commerce. Might be able to issue a news release.
Yeah.
Somebody there.
I think I know somebody that works there.
Well, I'm just trying to.
No, and that's a good point. So we'll have to figure out. I just don't know the most appropriate way to do that. That's why.
Well, Tania, is there any way you can work through Tania so that she has language to work with?
I don't know how to work with the tampering our county PFO. I would have to discuss that with her.
Thank you.
Okay, that would be great.
Thanks.
Yeah, because I know that staff needs to help out the volunteers of the CAC from time to time for better communication. We appreciate that. So, did you have anything else?
That's all. Thank you.
All right. How about you, Sandy?
Yes, I do. I did want to say, I didn't check my text, but Chris Poole texted me this morning and said that he would be unable to make it. I don't know if that excuses him, but he had work. He had work that came in the way. I'd like to hear if there's any plans. I know we've talked about it before. I've ever heard it before, of trails cutting east-west, like through Land O'Lakes, and at one time I had heard maybe they'd use the old railroad track there. Not sure, but if there's something update on that and we can hear from it, doesn't have to be right now, just in the future.
Have you heard anything about trails cutting through Land O'Lakes?
So that is part of the Orange Belt route study that's coming up soon, beginning of next year.
Awesome.
Okay, now what was that specific?
Say that again, Tina, because we're getting feedback.
Part of the Orange Belt.
So the Orange Belt Trail, that route study will include that segment as well. That trail goes from the southwest corner of Pasco County all the way up to the northeast corner of Pasco County. So that will be included in that section. And we do have that on our vision map as part of the corridor is that railroad corridor that you're talking about.
Oh, great. Thanks, Tina.
Okay.
And also, I know Mike Ward put in for state money to try to do those medians in Land O'Lakes because of our widening situation. I mean, at least we could make the medians look better. But I know we didn't get any money, but I know Hillsboro Lutz got a ton to do right there at Florida and Nebraska where it splits and comes into Lutz. It looks very, very good. And I was wondering if there's any way we could make ours look as good some way. I know even their oak trees in the middle of their medians look awesome, and they keep those pretty well. The grass cut and the trees sort of trimmed. Ours don't look as nice. So if there's anything that could be done with that, I know money's sparing right now, but maybe in the future you could look at beautifying Land Lakes a little bit with our medians. Thanks. Yeah, my ward put in for state money. It's been 2 years ago, I guess. We didn't get it, but about the same time they started that median improvement and Lutz at Florida and Nebraska, where it comes into Lutz. And they put drive by and see it. It's got kind of sculpture and all kinds of stuff going on in it. So just wondered why we didn't and they did.
Okay.
So that just for a quick clarification on that, the money that was requested from the state was actually an appropriation request, and I think it was done 2 or 3 times in consecutive years. The issue with that money is that we would love to do some type of beautification there, working obviously in lieu with the CAC, but also the MPO. The issue with the appropriations money is that each of the times that has been asked for, that's been vetoed. When any type of appropriation is vetoed like that, DOT actually loses the budget and that project for at least an entire work program year. So this one that went through the last time was obviously vetoed. So we actually can't do anything with that until at least next July of 2021, since it was vetoed for that last calendar year, which is the state fiscal year. So that's the problem with the appropriations that are in there. So I've actually talked with our maintenance folks on that.
Well, is there any way we can agree so that you don't have someone off the bottom? I mean, some reason Hillsborough gets it done, just saying.
And again, that's the reason why is because that wasn't an appropriation. And that's what I was trying to say is that we can't do anything with that and doing anything along that corridor until at least July 1st of 2021. And that's if no appropriation goes in for this next state fiscal year.
Okay. All right. So does anyone else have anything to add to either the roundtable discussion or future items for the agenda? Okay. Well, oddly enough, I don't. I don't have anything to say except one thing. I have only one thing to say, that I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I want you to know I appreciate you very, very much. And I appreciate Tania and all that we do for the MPO in Pasco County. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bear with me, guys. I get my bearings, but we'll have this committee out front.
All right.
Don your mask.
So it only took us almost 2 hours. Well, that's because the guys were talking so much. Pardon me?
Meeting adjourned?
Yes, meeting adjourned. Yeah, thank you. Now get my mask back on. You guys are good. I like members. I like members who really participate, you know?
We had a very robust meeting. It was full.
What's
It was very full.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Hey Becky, tell Tom hello, and we look forward to seeing